We welcome you back once again right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports. We get a chance now to talk some college golf, and Matt GEHRING joining us. And we haven't talked to Matt in the last couple of weeks, various things happening in our worlds, and they think we have nothing to do but to do this, right?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, it's been an exciting last couple of weeks. We're going to recap and then look ahead to what the men and women have coming up here over the next couple of weeks. And Matt, good to see you again, sir.
Thanks, Troy.
Okay, I know it's getting a little chilly outside. We're going to talk about what's coming up here pretty soon, so you have to deal with some weather issues, I'm sure, with that. But let's go back, recap. We'll start with the women first. Talk about what's happened over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, so 2 weeks ago we had our home tournament. We ended up finishing fifth with a very, very difficult 2 days.
Yeah.
It's out at Forest Hills, so anybody in the area knows how difficult of a course that can be. Specifically that weekend, they go on shutdown that next week, so they cut everything down as low as they can. Greens were rolling about as fast as anything that we've played all year, even faster. Fairways were rolling. It was a different challenge for not only us. You know, we learned to expect that, but the teams that came in, there was some very, very frustrated participants. But we fought it out. We gutted it out. We finished fifth. We pretty much for the 2 days shot, our average. So as a coach, in those conditions, with kind of tensions running high and kind of frustrations there, it was nice that we were able to shoot what we did. And then we were supposed to play last weekend up at Defiance, but due to some teams backing out with some injuries, I gave the girls a weekend off, a good weekend off for them to get ready for midterms this week. Also to kind of have a breather, that way we can kind of get a fresh start this week going into the conference championship. Yeah,
I got to go back, and I had a chance. You invited me out to talk to a couple of the players. I was actually kind of surprised how frustrated they were with the conditions and such.
Yeah, leading up to the event, the greens were rolling at a normal speed. They were still fast compared to other courses, but for Forest Hills, they were kind of a normal speed. They weren't overly fast, but they weren't slow. They were very fair throughout the week. And we weren't really sure what they were going to do for the weekend. We knew in the past that weekend was always the weekend that they cut everything down slow, or fast, sorry. So we really didn't know what to expect. So we get there on Saturday, and you're hitting a 10-foot putt like you would hit a normal 2-foot putt, and these balls were rolling. We had kids across the board, 5, 6, 7 putting some greens just because they were putting themselves in the positions that our players knew not to be. Which again, we always talk about local knowledge out at Forest Hills, our home course, being a huge factor in our success out there. And when you come in there and you've never played it before, you don't know where to leave some of your shots. Some of the players put some of their shots on the wrong side of the hole, and they paid for it. There was, I won't say the school or anything like that, but there was a gentleman that had a 14 putt, on the 18th green because it's two-tiered and just kind of playing ping pong back and forth. So those are the kind of conditions that we're used to playing, but if you've never played it before, you can be frustrated. Our girls and guys were frustrated that weekend because, like I said, leading up to it, it really wasn't that way. It was a very fair golf course leading up to it, and but again, everybody has to play the same course. They have to overcome the same adversity and the same obstacles that any other golfer out there has to do. So you just have to learn how to grind it out and play with what the good Lord gave you that day.
I would imagine, boy, from a mental aspect, they were driving them nuts.
I think we handled it a whole lot better than a lot of other teams out there. Of course, as tournament director, the other players see you as the one that set up the entire course. When in actuality, it was the course. We don't. As coaches in any division at any level, they never really have any say on how the course gets set up. So they see, us as the one that set up the course, and of course they're unloading their frustrations on us. And we handled ourselves very, very well. We didn't really complain too much about the conditions, but again, that comes from us knowing what to expect going into that weekend.
So that's why you weren't a popular guy that day, huh?
I wanted to get out of there as fast as I possibly could, and I did. I didn't stick around too much.
This weekend's going to be big for the women now. You head to the HCAC Championships. Talk a little bit about what to expect this weekend.
Yeah, we're really excited. Last year we only had the 3 girls in the fall, so we couldn't compete as a team. This year we've got 6 girls, so we are able to compete as a team this year. And I think we've battled some injuries, we've battled some illness earlier on. I'm hoping that this last week, kind of a really low-key week, kind of helped some of that. So we'll kind of sit down and talk today about the expectations, but I think we're really, really looking forward to the weekend to be able to kind of go out there and to surprise some people that may not think that we're only 2 years in. So to be able to maybe, beat a few of the more established teams that are out there, I think is what our goal is. Of course, the goal is to always win, but, we know what we've got ahead of us. So we've played the course earlier on this year in the HCAC preview. I like what I saw from them. Again, we played, that was, basically right in the middle of the season when we were battling kind of the tail end of everybody being sick. Our number one girl had been battling a strained back muscle for the better part of the entire season. So with her being healthy, not really swinging for the last week and a half or so, I'm hoping everybody's kind of real fresh going into this week. And we play a practice round on Friday to kind of reacclimate ourselves. But we're really excited and really looking forward to getting out there and competing this weekend. All
right, so Friday practice around Saturday, Sunday.
Saturday, Sunday, we will have live scoring, which is kind of new for the women's golf. The men's have it. So every 3 holes, the girls are going to be able to report their scores and on GolfStat, and I'll tweet that out, and I'll also get that to our sports information department to be able to get that link on our website.
Good.
But you can go there and get every 3rd hole updates for how everybody's playing. And of course, it's not the official results, but at least it's the closest thing that we have to being able to keep everybody back here informed, and some of our players that maybe have family that can't make it to the tournament as informed as possible on how we're doing. So I think it's a really cool feature to kind of, and as a coaching standpoint, we aren't in the dark anymore. That allows us, especially on that second day, on hole 15, we know, where we're at going into 16, 17, and 18. We know exactly where everybody's at. So it allows us to kind of be a little bit more strategic during the week or during the weekend to be able to kind of see where everybody's at and what we need to do on these holes to kind of either get back up into the pack or, to kind of have a sense of, being comfortable going to the last few holes. So we're excited for that kind of new feature of the conference championship.
Okay, and Coach, as you mentioned, it'll be tweeting that out and it'll be on GoEarlham.com.
Yes,
so
correct.
Keep an eye on that. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about the men. What's in store for them coming up? And in fact, I don't think they're in action this week. It'll be next week.
It'll be next week, yep.
So we'll talk about that coming up in just a couple of moments right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports.
For the past 35 years, Van Vliet Insurance has built a reputation of bringing a personal touch. That's because at Van Vliet, it's all about you, your needs, your life, and our town. Along with providing quality coverage to individuals, families, and local businesses, we're proud of our community and the opportunity we have to protect your future within it. Van Vliet Insurance, an Erie Insurance representative. Hometown professionals at work for you.
Well, we've talked about the women. Time to talk about the men, and let's recap what they have done over the last couple of weeks as well.
Yeah, so we'll go back to our home tournament again. We had a rough first day, but again, it was conditions that we weren't really expecting to have. We had a really rough first day. Ended up putting ourselves in 4th place after the first day, which at your home tournament, you always want to put yourself in a position to win. So we were a little bit disappointed with that. I was happy with the way that they bounced back the second day. We ended up playing 16 shots better the second day. So we ended up finishing 3rd, which again, like I said, there was the disappointment of not finishing well at our home tournament, but I think it was a learning tool for our players moving forward. And then this past weekend, we were down at the State Line shootout down at Miami Whitewater Golf Club down in Harrison, Ohio. Had a little bit of a rough day. The first day, shot 313. Probably left about 10, 15 shots out there that day, so we were disappointed when we came off. But then the second day, we came out strong, strong for me, I should say. We actually shot 304, which is a program record.
Good.
So we're really happy about that. But the best thing that I took away from this weekend is even though we shot a program record on Sunday, the guys were still disappointed in the way that they played, and they knew that we still left about 8 or 10 shots out there. And as a coach, that gives you a good feeling to know that they know exactly what they're capable of doing.
Yeah.
Would I have been happy if they would have been very excited for the 304? Absolutely, they deserve to be. But it really kind of is a testament to how we've set up our culture here and kind of the players that we have, that they're never satisfied with what they shoot. They know that they can play better. So we look to build on that moving forward. We're going to be playing up at the Defiance Invitational up in Perrysburg, Ohio, next Thursday and Friday, which could be one of the sites for the conference championship next year. That's still kind of unclear about where we're going to be playing. So we're going to play in that tournament because it's a course that nobody in our conference really has ever played unless they're from the area.
Really? Okay.
So we're hoping to go up there and to kind of get maybe a little bit of a learning curve over some of the other teams in the conference, kind of go up there and cheat a little bit and see the course before anybody else really knows what might be going on. So we're looking forward to getting up there and, of course, competing again. We want to go into every tournament and win. But again, it's a course that I've never seen and nobody on our team has ever seen. So we're going to go in kind of a little bit blind. But I think with the confidence that we gained this past weekend, they have the weekend off for fall break, but I think the confidence from last weekend is really going to pay some dividends for next week.
Hey, by the way, before I let you go, the weather's starting to play a little more of a concern. You had the warm weather, now you've kind of gone into the fall. And,
and that's one thing that we kind of wanted to work on this week with the weather. Luckily enough, the girls are playing in Lexington this weekend, so it's supposed to still be 70 to 75 this weekend, but with it being like 55 or 60 here, especially since we've battled half the season with colds and flus and everything, we've kind of been pumping the brakes a little bit this week with going outside. So we practiced yesterday inside in the studio. We're going to do it again today just to ensure that nobody catches a bug from that dramatic, we were 80 degrees last week. Now we're down into the 50s and 60s. I don't want to get anybody sick. Same thing for the guys, we're at the tail end of the season. We want everybody being healthy to kind of get some momentum going into these last two tournaments to get our off-season started on the right note and then to build for the spring.
All right, Coach, good to see you again, sir.
Thanks, Troy. Appreciate it.
And as always, don't forget, live scoring for this weekend, and go to GoEarlham.com for all the latest information. And I'm sure Mitch has a preview of the tournament.
Yeah, he'll be getting a preview up today about it, yep.
Okay, very good. And we'll try to hook up with the coach again next week, see how everything went, and of course preview that men's tournament next week as well. We'll do that right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports.